Good evening, Twitch. How you doing? It's Tuesday night. Hoping you have yourself a good week so far. Kind of been a slow week for me, and I feel like it's going to be going at a pretty slow pace all this week. But I'm not going to worry about that because we have ourselves a lot more complicated behemoths to slay. Because these behemoths are only going to get more difficult. I was honestly thinking I was going to have more trouble with the Embermane in Dauntless more than I would have had with the Skarn. But the Skarn was the one who actually has given me the most trouble from last night's stream. And I think part of that is you get used to playing this game as it's a team game. It's a multiplayer game. You should be playing this game as a multiplayer game. You shouldn't be playing or trying to take on the behemoths alone unless you know that monster's attack pattern. And I think a lot of the later behemoths, there's one behemoth actually that you can take on alone, and I actually, on my own personal time, have been farming that because that's the only way for me to make any progression in the late game, which I do have some issues with as of late. So as you can see, I'm still kind of turned back here. I'm using my Shockjaw Scythe here, which is the axe for the Shockjaw. And that's primarily what I use for the bigger bosses, because I feel like the axe and sword are your, more or less your soloist weapons. Hammer is also a good solo weapon, but it's better if you'll be spending more time just simply attacking the head for if you're using a hammer. I want to at least try to be able to cut off the parts. I still like the chain blades the most out of anything and everything else. That's what I prefer over it all. But take what you can get. I'm trying to remember here. I think actually I'm trying to remember what is weak to what. I think I actually had my weaknesses mixed up yesterday. Because I was thinking about it. Because in terms of elemental weaknesses, the only one that actually does something on a substantive scale is actually the electric. Because electric can actually stun the behemoths. But I always forget which they're actually weak to, because I think electric's supposed to be weak to fire. The ice is supposed to be weak to... I think ice is supposed to be weak to electric. And then fire is supposed to be weak to ice. I think that's how it goes.
Slayer, good to see you.
At least in terms of the rotation. Plus the other hard part is, it takes a lot of weapon Arcanite to actually upgrade your weapons, and I mean a lot. Speaking of electric weapons, I don't think I actually have a good electric weapon I can use. Like I said, I've honestly been using a lot more weapons that aren't in my real house. Like I said, I'm really just used to the axe. I'm really just used to the chain blades, and I feel like the dailies, they do a good job of showing players, hey, you know, you'll get better at the game, you can hunt Scraves, cool shots and stuff, and it gives you incentive, because you're gonna get your reputation increased by it, you're gonna get more cores by doing the dailies and such, rather than just playing the game straight. Same thing with Weapon Master, so it's like, this gives me a, you know, sometimes you get generic ones, Weapon Master. Like, I still haven't gotten these cells here, and these are actually really good, they're +2. They're +2 buffs, which are actually really good, because one thing that I still haven't been able to really delve deeply into is the sets. But this is the only way you'll basically be able to build up your reputation or experience with the Weapon Master and Alchemist, is if you do those quests. And when you don't feel like doing a quest, because, say, it involves a weapon or a territory that you might not want to do, it kind of hurts. It kind of hurts, honestly. I think what I'll do... Well, first things first, I'd like to at least try and show the game to be a little bit more fair. You know, actually, I want to try... Let's see, I think it was it. Yeah, so let's actually try the Drask's Fury here. I'm also going to reduce my damage here. Let's actually put on that Scrave armor, because I know that's where we're on right now, is the Scraves. I don't have a Scrave helm. I'll be honest, I don't think I really have hunted this grave that much.
Talk to me.
Do I even have enough for a Grave Helm? I don't think I do. Apparently I didn't even max out the, fucking face guard here. There's Shrike, Charog, where's Grave? Grave, I do not actually have enough for that. I have not... Yeah, Grave was something I kind of just skipped over. So what I can do... I'll actually wear something a little bit... It'll be a little over... Well... Something that's a normal... I don't want to wear something that loses me frost resistance. It's the Ember Helm. It's a Storm Helm.
Word of our community's acclaim spreads.
Thank you very much for the auto-host exposure. Always appreciate it. Hopefully you're having yourself an awesome day. As for this, let's put on the Scrave armor here. Ideally, honestly, I was hoping as I was streaming this, I would get the, I would have the, all of the gear, or make the gear during the process, but I spent all my Arcanite upgrading, each of the weapons. Do I even have an electric weapon? We got the Drask. Blades aren't bad. That's the next tier. That's Zaga Chopper is the next tier up. You know what? We'll actually use the. I know it's not its weakness, but we'll use the. Yeah, we'll use the not the Char Sword, but the Ember Cutlass. I do like the way you actually look in some of the outfits. Like some are really really cool. For now, let us go to the back to the Yonder Keys here. We're actually going to do a pursuit. The last monster on this list, which will be the Scrave. This is going to be an interesting fight here. I'm not going to have as much combat endurance. Because once we get up to the next tier, I want to show exactly why I favor the axe. Specifically, the two axes in this game. Because to me, combat endurance means everything, and without giving you a way to heal... Like, once you find out there actually is a weapon that lets you heal, and you use and abuse it, it lets you play a lot... Not a lot riskier and sloppier. Like, you'll still be very wary on attack patterns and such, but you'll really want to spend your time just tanking a hit because you know you're going to heal that back up. And I think that kind of shows just how powerful that weapon, the weapon is. I do need to get these, the Iron Thistles. I really have pretty much used up my entire supply. It's been a long time since I fought this Grave. I don't even know if I can actually beat this Grave. Oh, there's this Grave. But yeah, I'm just not used to using the sword. The sword or the war pike. I still have trouble with the animations and such. And I know I think oddly enough, when you don't get to play the game... Like, I had a very similar problem with a lot of other games that did the whole play in this specific fashion. It really does sour the game for me. Now this might be a personal gripe, but I think when you don't get to enjoy the game the way you want to as the player all the time... Hello. Why are these behemoths always starting with the rudest attacks? It's always the rudest attacks. I don't know why. Also, you can, as you notice, the Scrave can kick your butt, and also put you in a stun lock. if I also remember my combos. I also don't know why. Fine. I'm throwing that out there just because I'm not going to be able to use this. Ah, I even got the hit too. Why can I can never get the combo. So what you're supposed to do is do 2 heavies and then just spam X. But for some odd reason, I can never get it. There we go. And that is supposed to... Now, don't touch the ice, because you'll actually freeze. Oh. Okay. You... I want to fight you, but you're kinda all the way over there by all that ice. I don't want to do that. Ah, darn it. I should drink this. Let's launch some fire. Ah, darn it. It was too close. I tried to make a swing. And I got me. Oh, please don't combo me. Like, I can't figure out when I need to press the button for those attacks. Like, for some odd reason, it just never happens. So I can never get the repeating elements attack. Oh, I walked into the ice. Nope. As much as I would like to get the interrupt, I don't have the confidence in it. Hey, got a scrape feather. 2 of them. Ah, come on. Well, I only have myself to blame. I really only have myself to blame. Oh, it actually does. I would not like to be comboed. No! Ah, I wish this game had a locking system. Remember to roll. That shouldn't have even hit me. Let me get out of the ice, please. Yeah, I'm gonna have trouble fighting this grave. Definitely made their bosses tougher. Could actually take advantage of any additional attacks. That didn't... That sucks. I thought that would count. I made a mistake. I thought that would actually count. Ah, darn it. I thought I was far away enough. That apparently does reduce health now. Something tells me that was an added patch. I definitely don't... I walked into that. And I'm going to pay the price. There is... Oh. I just realized I just ran all my stamina out. I gotta just walk away. I really should start risking it. Actually get an attack off. There we go. It's such a waste. I really wish the overdrive was its own thing. And that is why I hate interrupting in this game. Because as nice as it is... As nice as it is to interrupt them, it's such a high risk. And that's why the War Pike exists now. I think the War Pike has its place being the safest of the weapons to actually interrupt enemies. Oh, I don't know why I don't sheath my sword here. Like, the Scrave is nothing more than a nice Shrike, but it makes its impact power. It has a powerful enough of an impact. Go. Of course, I didn't get it. But never mind, I did. Hitting you with all the elements. Apparently also rages enough to knock down a tree. Okay. I would like to get away from you now, please. I actually can't believe that worked. That should not have worked. Alright, you can run at me now. I should also let my stamina regen. Yeah, you're gonna charge at me, and I'm not gonna do anything about that. I think what wing I need to actually hit left. I'm also surprised I didn't run to the hurricane. Ew. Damn it. Wasn't close enough. Please be done. Nope, you're not done. Now you're done. Really wish there was a better way to get the repeating elements. Right. Nope, did too early. Now I'm starting to get focused. I think I just threw... Never mind. Did too early again. It's really hard when you're not just looking directly at the Scrave. There. Wait, I thought I got the leg. Oh, he did hit me. Well, now he's just camping the thing I need. I swear, it's the most unreliable. The repeating elements are just unreliable to me. I've never seen them work out for me for some reason. Give me that health. There you go. That works. Didn't expect that to work. I need one more hit. The Slayer needs the good stuff. Give me that Aether. Nope. Oh, he cut off short because he hit the wall. Speaking of hitting the wall, I should have rolled back. Oh, please don't attack me. No! I don't know what. I think I actually missed the leg. Oh, creating a very interesting wall here. That's why I want a lock-on system, because I always lose. Damn it. I don't know when I'm supposed to actually press X to get that attack off. I really don't, and it's honestly upsets me that it's not responsive. Repeating element should be like, you should be able to button mash your X button. But you can't for some reason. Okay, so that's a literal bolt of lightning. I totally missed that. How? That's where the battle goes downhill, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't mind him charging me. Well, not... That's something else they have to fix, too. They have to give you longer invincibility frames. If they don't give you longer invincibility frames to prevent that from happening. It happens on so many behemoths, it's honestly upsetting. Don't get caught on the tree. I'm actually surprised this behemoth hasn't gotten... There we go. No! I didn't see the ice. I can't take a hit. Come on, just do a normal attack, would you? That'll work. Okay, so it's that wing. I was curious what wing it was. Now I can. That's gonna be the death of me. I don't know how I missed that, but it did. Ah, damn it. Kinda just want him to run away, because I need a new one hit, I'm dead. Oh, that's all his parts. Yo, Scrape, hold it together, buddy. I know you're up against the wall, but... I'm actually surprised that doesn't hit him. Oh, I was expecting 2 shots. Also, at least I got that. Run away.
Word of our community's acclaim spreads.
Hey, Mecha Jam, thank you very much for the host. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. Let's shoot him with lightning. Shooting the bird with lightning. We're playing Dauntless. It's actually in its final closed beta phase. And I just want to kind of show what the game has to offer to people before it goes open beta, so you kind of know what you're getting into. Use that crystal. We're actually hunting the Scrave. I got lucky, he actually just leaped. And nice, he's down. We've been doing most of them solo. Actually, so far we have done all of them solo on stream. Some have been a lot harder than others. Scrave actually isn't so bad, especially when you have a team. Because once you know how to fight a Shrike, it's really just learning the range of the Shrike, of the Scrave, just increases on a bigger level. But that's the only time you can actually interrupt. But that's what makes interrupting with every weapon except for the Warpike difficult. But even the Warpike has a bit of a difficulty because it takes a lot of time to build up a bullet that'll actually interrupt the Behemoths. Yeah, I think it is. I think ice enemies are actually weak to lightning. There we go. Got all our stuff. That was actually a lot of stuff. I didn't expect to break off all the pieces of the Scrave. But now that we're done with the Yonder Keys, which is the second zone that they have in this game, we can move on to the Uncharted Reaches. And this actually has quite a few enemies here. It has the Nezaga, the Pangar, the Hellion, the Stormclaw, and the Karabac. Karabac probably being the most difficult one of the group. But now I can actually show you why a very certain axe is incredibly powerful. So there's actually 2 of them. It's the Zaga Chopper and the Shockjaw Scythe. I'm currently using the Shockjaw Scythe in my when it comes to the late game. That's what I've chosen to actually use. But you're first introduced to the Zaga Chopper, and as you can see, the buff for this one here is that it heals 200 on perfectly charged vertical attacks. That's 200 HP. There aren't any other ways to really heal yourself aside from...
What's up, Captain?
I always make one. I always make one when it comes to that, and I really wish they fix that. I really wish they'd fix that, or make it so like you could just make multiple instead of just constantly selecting craft it over and over and over again. But aside from reducing damage, which takes the Bulwark Potion, which is why I've been trying to store up Iron Thistle, because you kind of need it for the later game. The only other ways to really heal is the Lifespring Pylon. That's it. There is no other way to
Adventure awaits.
to heal in this game, unfortunately. And since we are fighting a lightning enemy, I'm going to be using the axe still, because I want to show just how powerful that is, and it's something I'm very much used to. I'm going to take a look here. Let's see, do I actually have the Embermane one crafted? I do have the Embermane one crafted. There's a lot of different benefits. Like I said, I personally actually still like the Scarred one the best because it gives you 200 HP shield. And I think that does a lot more towards combat endurance rather than anything the Drask Lantern, the Embermane's Lantern, the Pangar Lantern. There is one, I think I don't have all the lanterns, honestly.
Farewell to you, Slayer.
I could have sworn there were more lanterns. They used to be in the alpha. Like, there used to be a lantern for every behemoth, but they were extremely difficult to actually craft. And that was the, oh, which one was it called? Like, there was, I think there's one that actually is apparently supposed to also give you some sort of combat endurance. But we're actually going to put on the Zaga armor here. And the one nice thing about this set, see, where is it? Here it is. The one nice thing about the Zaga set here is that it actually has a effect called Medic. And this is more for supporting for your team, which is, I'll be honest, I kind of like this this set bonus the best right now in terms of team play, because it's the only one that really contributes to when your teammates get downed. Because every time you're revived, you lose. You don't get all your health back when you're revived, and it's not a set amount either. So it consistently decreases. But if you stack enough of the medic set bonus, you actually can heal your ally by an additional 100%. So basically, or even by 50%. Like if you ever was it, I think at +5. The moment you revive them the first time, they'll basically be back at full health. And that makes a huge difference between getting healed, or getting brought back, or revived, and having 40% of your max HP, versus having 100. Once again, it's kind of one of those, it's all about combat endurance. And that's why I kind of like... I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the look. I mean, the original look is actually on the right. It's actually a blue coat. But I'm partial towards red. Or, I guess in this case, I'm partial to, Persimmon. Because that's the color they actually have it. Unfortunately, to buy all the other dyes, you have to pay with platinum. And that's something I'm not in the state to actually do it, to actually use yet.
What do you know?
Actually take a look here. Maybe I actually can improve. I don't think I can improve the... Well, I guess I can improve this, the armor. I do have still some stuff.
Keep your eyes open.
What I probably should check, though, is weapons.
You're a sight for sore Austrian eyes.
There we go. Yep, we can actually upgrade it. I think we will. We have the weapon Arcanite for it, and I really want to show the Zaga Chopper in action as probably one of the better weapons you could ever use in this game. There we go. Maxed out at +4. 312 total power. So I'll probably only actually be doing 292 just because the Zaga is just that strong against it. But all the other ones, though, just to kind of show real quick, 5% steel versus wounded parts, so you're not even going to get the benefit until the part's broken off. Hammer's okay, but you'd have to be really focused on constantly staggering the behemoth. Sword gets the same thing, 5% lifesteal versus wounded parts, same thing with the Warpike. But the axe, leagues above the rest. And as hard as to get a perfectly charged vertical attack, it is still worth it. Just to let you know, vertical attacks is just your X, and horizontal is the Y. Why don't we go and hunt ourselves a Zaga? I'll actually try him solo. I'm curious if I can actually take him solo, because I fought... the Shockjaw and the Nezaga are one and the same with some very minor differences. Incredibly minor. I think after this, though, I'll probably actually need help for the rest of them. Because these behemoths aren't going to be easy. This is the outfit I'm used to rising from my grave with. I'm so hideous, you don't want to even see my face. I've covered it up. Question is, been a while actually since I've been on this. As you may notice now, not all the islands are the same. So depending on which zone you're actually hunting in, the islands will slightly change. Here's some Slayer's Boon. Hey, there's our buddy. There's our Zainaga. Why don't I go say hello? So this is actually going to be a difficult fight for one specific reason. That primary reason... I'm gonna wait till he attacks, because he's just gonna charge me. I actually don't know if you can interrupt the Zainaga, honestly. Ah, darn it. And I'm just missing all of my attacks. Lovely. And that is why this axe is powerful. Because as long as I'm landing those perfectly charged attacks, I'm gonna get healed. And that makes a huge difference. Also, I should, just to let you know, I need to watch out for that. Unfortunately, I need to actually be more careful now. Oh, I left the wrong collar on, or the wrong lantern. So the downside about using this axe... So, this fight is actually a very interesting fight to actually go up against, because there's constantly these little... He launches his spikes. I can't believe I ran into that. He launches spikes, and those become little turrets. But the downside... I just realized I don't have my... I don't have my... shield anymore. I will say right... Oh... One other thing. That electric debuff there prevents you from using potions. Kinda not good in my situation. Like, that's why I like the Skarn's shield a lot. But because you get super armor from a fully charged swing, you kinda not care if they're actually gonna hit you, because you're gonna get the health back. Unless you play like that. At least for the most part. And, I'm actually gonna drag him over here so I can recharge my stamina. That's the unfortunate part about not remembering to use the right lantern. Also, the unfortunate part if I don't use the right weapon. Because the reason why this is a hard fight is because you're constantly being bombarded with projectiles. And they're not completely homing, but they'll fire if their attack patterns stagger. They're gonna fire. It's one of the few times I actually got pushed by him. Oh, got your forehead. But fighting this guy, I've kind of grown used to it. Come on. There we go. Ah, come on. Really? I'm actually surprised I landed all those hits. And off he goes. But not exactly the best demonstration, but you can kind of see why this axe is really, really good. And it does let you end up playing extremely sloppy. I will 100% admit, I've kind of become a sloppy slayer because of that buff that the axe gives you. Because combat endurance means everything. And I kind of wish... I honestly do wish, like, they focused more on set bonus or made everything a set bonus. But I know this particular... If they made healing a buff, everyone would go for the heal. Without a doubt in my mind, everyone would go for the heal. And because they're gonna go for the heal, nope, not gonna get the hit on that one. Very careful. I swear, sometimes it goes through, sometimes the bubbles go through, sometimes they don't. Ah, darn it. Probably just drag the... The behemoth's gonna follow me. What am I doing? You can hit the ball, the electrical balls back. It's actually what you're supposed to do in a later version of the fight. Like I said, huge difference in how you end up playing once you learn the axe gets that super armor. Of course, also apparently I'm still terrible at aiming. There you go. Zaga has been slain. I could have cut off a lot more parts. I think I only cut off the head. But you can see why I favor the Zaga and Shockjaw axe over anything else in this game. Like, it won't make you invulnerable. But against a lot of the behemoths, you no longer are just bound to using the Skarn's lantern to prevent yourself from getting a hit. And also the And the healing potions and revive crystal, which makes soloing a whole lot easier. And not to mention, since it's an axe, it does an extreme amount of damage. Like I said, this is why I've learned... That's why I kind of dropped the chain blades. Not so much for the damage, but because of the combat endurance. It's all because of that. If I didn't get the heal from the axe, I still probably would stick to the chain blades. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, a lot of people can't pull off the swords heavy into X. It's not even if like it is stamina based, so you won't actually be able to pull it off if you don't have stamina. But at the same time, even if you do have stamina, the button just doesn't register. They do need to actually improve that. But let me take a look. Who else is on the list here for the pursuits? Oh, goody. The Pangar. Well, this is where things start to become difficult. Yeah, see, the one downside, and I really hope they fix this when it comes to open beta. So you can actually see... Yeah, so electric is... Oh, so electric's actually... Oh, well, actually, hang on a second. This actually makes me curious now. Let's see. Yeah, Charog. Yeah, so they show its weaknesses. So, like, the Charog's weak against ice. The Drask is weak against fire. The Embermane's weak against ice. So it's actually showing their weaknesses. The Scrave is apparently weak to both, which is actually a surprise. So, for... the Pangar here, it looks like it's actually weak to fire. I have anything else. But I'm going to still use the electric over anything else. We'll actually give it a shot. We'll try and hunt it solo. But you'll start to see why. We're going up against this group here is where the game starts to become extremely difficult. Like, I'm actually going to actively start using potions and I... What am I saying? I actually don't have any ice armor. So, if you don't have the resistance armor, don't worry so much about it. Just make sure you give yourself the highest amount of defense possible. Like, that's the most important thing. Ice, as an element, isn't the worst. If anything, it's actually probably the most forgiving. Even if you do get frozen. Because most behemoths that are of the ice elemental, which is a very small list, would, don't actively use a lot of ice attacks. It's when you get to fire, because fire has a DOT on it, and that just destroys your health. Shock, it isn't bad, but being restricted, it does a lot of damage, so it still does, like, the burst damage. But the problem is, you're not gonna get the, you're gonna be restricted from using items, and there are times where that can make or break a fight. So there's a huge difference. I will say, though, I do like the fact that he added this. Added the little pads of Aether, or ether that just launch you across the island. Let's see. Not there. Come on. Like, seeing a Pangar. Pangars kind of stand out. Oh, there it is. Hiding behind that little ridge. So, no promises, but this is where things start to really hurt. Wish I found some Sky Bloom. I'd rather get the weekly done. The weeklies for the Alchemist is bugged in this game. Because every time you use... to craft a potion and such, You actually... Oh... Sorry, this is gonna be... This is the behemoth that made me just drop the chain blades. This literally was the behemoth that made me just drop the chain blades, because I could not do any damage. Oh! Well, at least I got a heal. Ah, come on. I really hope they fix the getting up animation. Well, at least it gave me a heal. Like I said, massive behemoth. Like, the entire body becomes a hitbox. Also, doesn't help, he constantly attacks. Also, he has another form, kind of like the Embermane. I've actually been very lucky. He's up against this ice here. Also hit him with this. So the one thing you might notice, as I said earlier, the reason why I dropped this behemoth made me drop the chain blades is because it kept attacking. So it just doesn't stop attacking at all. But also this tail here. So the tail, if you notice, it's not on the ground. It's floating in midair. That makes it impossible to hit with chain blade attacks. So most of my time, and I've only taken on this behemoth with team members. I never actually killed the Pangar solo. I'm gonna get hit by ice. I'm actually gonna drink a potion here. We're at the point where I'm actually taking actual damage now. Okay. I am terrible at the interrupt. That's the roll attack is actually his interrupt. The entire tail sweep right there should kind of tell you why I've never been able to, why I had to drop the chain blades. I'm also terrible at interrupting with the axe, just simply because the speed of the attacks are very slow. Also, the other thing about the Pangar, you might also notice the swing back also does damage. So, also he slows the area around you when he's chilled like this. Like, it's a very unique enemy that you end up fighting. But it is rough. Also, where did it go? Hi, buddy. Would you like to come over here? And he also has an extremely fast recovery time. Absurdly high recovery time. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. So if you notice the crystal there, that's the power of the medic. Very difficult to actually do well against this behemoth. as you also notice, the hitbox. This is where I really start to notice a major issue, like where I really start to have trouble with this game. And it's primarily because the enemies started attacking so quickly that there wasn't a huge reprieve. He just ended his attack right at the end of the interrupt. So if you're in the way, you're gonna get hit. Like, there's nothing you can do. And I'm also drinking a potion. Honestly, I wish a lot of the animations didn't take so long. They need, like, once you get to the late game here, I consider this the late game, it becomes really difficult. Because if you get stuck on an animation, it does not matter. Like, his recovery time is massive. And it's very hard, and he dashes so far away, you could barely get an opportunity to actually attack. Like I said, makes a huge difference in this game. Maybe I could take another hit if I get this attack. And it's only on the first swing. I totally screwed myself here. As you can see, I missed all of that lightning. I missed all of that lightning because of the Pangar's hitbox. It's too high. Like, everything on it is way too high. But it's still low enough to hit you. I don't think I'm ever gonna survive this. Nope, not gonna survive it. Like I said, this is where the game kind of goes downhill for me. Or that's where, honestly, it's where it went downhill for me. This is the point where it went downhill for me. And not even from a soloing aspect. I just mean in the boss designs, in the Behemoths designs. Because once you turn your boss fights from being a constant, like an ebb and flow. Like, okay, there's moments where you can attack, and there's moments where you can't. And that makes it open for, very open to not simply be reliant on making opportunities. That, I think, if anything, should be the benefit for people who are extremely coordinated. Because there's very few times you can actually interrupt or stun the Behemoths. There's two ways to actually stun Behemoths. One, by doing an extreme amount of damage to the forehead. Or two, oh god, I forgot what the other one was. Getting a lucky stun. Getting a lucky stun from electric weapon using elemental attack. But the percentage chance on the latter is extremely low, and the former getting a lot of doing raw damage on it. Oh no, there's actually technically 3. I'm sorry. The third one is the one I was actually supposed to get at, which was landing those interrupt attacks. But landing the interrupt attacks is extremely difficult. Whether you're using an axe, or sword, or a hammer, chain blades can't do it. Warpike can also do it with a bullet. But this is where the game really starts to become difficult. I just need to check if I had any, I'll try one more time solo. And if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna go and just start enlisting help from randoms and hope I get randoms. Because I'll be honest, as of late, I haven't been able to get many randoms anymore when I play this game. And I know it's closed beta, and I think a lot of people, they played the closed beta, they got to where they were satisfied, or they got to the end game, and then they kind of stopped, because these late game and end game Behemoth fights are not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Like, that's why I was shocked I was doing so terrible at the Drask. The Drask that's where it starts to turn. But this is where they really start. This is where the difficulty really starts to ramp up. But when you have that constant flow of the Behemoth doing nothing but attacking, and they become harder and harder to hit, it becomes a lot more. It starts becoming more rage-inducing and not fun. Because a lot of attacks in this game are based off combos. Now, the reason why I went to axe was, well, what do you need to do with an axe? You just need to swing your axe. You'll do decent damage, just swing it on its own. But for a lot of the time, you'll only get one opportunity to get an attack. And why not just do 1,000 damage in that one moment versus doing 70 damage with a chain blade? Or doing, you know, maybe 200 or 300 damage with a sword. It makes the difference every single time. Because there's only so long you're going to be able to do enough damage and not get hit. And I think that's the most important, the latter part there. Being able to not get hit is more of a eventuality. And I just realized I didn't take the... I didn't take the Scar and Lantern again. I really gotta change that. Give me 1 second, I actually need to take a drink. There we are. And we're better. So let's go and take a look for this. Take a look for this Pangar. But it's because of the Pangar, and if we can get to it tonight, and I will be enlisting help in this, it's the Hellion. You want to see some difficult boss Behemoth fights? It's the Beavers. The Beavers are the power. Those duo, the twin Beavers, are the strongest Behemoths in the. Well, maybe not the strongest Behemoths in the game, but they're at the point where it's like. They're at the point where you either know what you're doing and you memorized everything, or you don't. Or to make it even easier, if you have an actual team and actually be coordinated. I don't even use the Slayer's Boon. I didn't even drink my potion. Gotta be careful about the tail attack. I've also have to make sure I actually get stamina here. I gotta start just doing 2. Really actually start to see if I can get the... Chasing all day, every day. I hate that the turnaround there. Like I said, this is not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight. The hitboxes are out of control. And it's just not easy. Really? He didn't roll this way? I'm a little disappointed. And if you're not out of the way, you're not gonna land a hit. And you just get run over every single time. I just wish there was a better way. Like, a different type of design. Also, I hate the roll attack with the axe. As you can also notice, it kinda sucks. Like I said, Pangar, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I honestly don't like the design direction, and if you think this is bad, it only goes faster from here. Like, the Pangar's fat, like, shows that the moment he gets in range, he will do an attack. And what makes it worse is that when you're playing solo, he knows what attacks to do. Like, it knows what attacks it needs to do. Like I said, I hate the hitboxes in this game. I hate the hitboxes for the Pangar and the Hellion. Like, this is probably the only actual ebb moment, but as you can see, instantly, jumps instantly back into another attack. And you notice, like I said, give the designers a medal for the hitboxes in this game. I really don't know how they accomplished it. I really don't. I don't know how they accomplished making the hitboxes when they attack so gigantic and yet so tiny when you try and actually do an attack. I actually don't know how they did it. But seriously though, kudos. I don't know how that actually went through me. Like I said, you just get no time. There's no time to benefit from even the interrupt. And it really sucks. Nope. It's this point I really wish the developers would take a hard look at the direction they want to take their bosses. Because, and I'll show it, it'll become a little bit more manageable, but not by much. I'll actually see if I can actually get its team together to play against the Pangar. Not many people like going up against this tier of behemoths. Like the Nezagas, no problem. Everyone can, if you have a team, you can do the Xenaga. Or if you have the suit of the Xenaga, you can usually do it. He's not really hard. It's almost everything else. That's the wrong one. It's when you go after the Hellion. The Hellion is probably actually the worst of this entire group. Karabakh is probably the close second, then the Stormclaw. Pangar is actually number 4. He is actually the one where things start to say, okay, this is start being easy. But we'll see. Oh, what do you know? We actually got a few people. Hey, and they're actually decked out in Pangar armor. That's actually very nice. Oh, speaking of which, let me change my lantern. Like I said, this is why I like the Skarn's Defiance the most. It's the damage, the swirling stone damage is terrible, but I don't need to worry about. I don't need to move faster for 6 seconds. I don't need to attack for 30% more for 8 seconds. I don't even need to do increased damage for any longer. I want combat endurance. That is the one thing I will value the most out of anything else. And it looks like Blackbeard Gamers here is absurdly overgeared for what we're about to take on. So he is probably going to destroy the Pangar in terms of damage. But just being able to get the opportunity to do a single attack against the behemoths in the late game doesn't really become viable anymore. That, Blackbeard Gamers there is, he's actually using armor from the Hellion Nasher. I'm surprised actually he's using chain blades, but given that we're playing as a team, he should be able to actually land a few hits. Hey, he's got a custom. There are actual some Twitch streamers, if they're partnered and such, they actually have a, their own flare. I don't know if that's actually one of them or not, or if he bought that flare. Like I said, the way their Phoenix Labs is going to try and make money from the game is they're not doing the loot boxes anymore. They're doing like I said, as long as he's in range of an enemy, he will do attacks. I am just trying to get an attack in. I'm gonna get ripped apart. Yeah, so Blackbeard Gamers there, he's probably hitting for maybe 100 damage. Probably less. Like to land an attack, but it's really difficult because all he does is seamlessly move from one attack to the next, and every attack he does just moves him across the entire field. I also really wish that dash attack did not exist on the axe. Oh, by the way, you can only... Savior, thank you very much for the host. I appreciate it. You can enjoy my rant and me getting knocked out as I play some more Dauntless tonight. Actually gonna drink another potion. Ah, they tire. I'm just getting comboed here. This is actually a terrible place, because the moment you're on some sort of terrain. And I'm also not a fan of the having your weapons sheathed. I'm dead. No, I'm not dead. Close, though. I'm down. So this is actually what makes your combat endurance a lot better in a group. Assuming if they really shouldn't invest the time in getting me up. They really shouldn't. But they probably will. And I don't blame them. Yeah, so they actually got the electric buff there, so that actually puts him in a paralyzed state. For me, unfortunately, I don't get to monopolize off that. Oh, maybe I do, actually. I was able to get that off. Massive damage, that tail. Especially when he's berserked. The only thing that gets bigger with the Pangar here is his damage and the AoE of those body stomps. Oh, he's probably actually cooling down now. I said you're not gonna worry. About the direction. I got very lucky he's actually stuck in the trees. He is actually very glitched out right now. And he's back in berserk mode. I'm honestly surprised. Those trees actually held him. Really should do my job. Because I do have a medic buff. Yeah, so you can see just how little health Dishonored MG actually got from that revive. It was nothing. And we also got another shock. Look at that massive damage. Like I said, I hope you just start to see that it becomes a lot more manageable. I am hitting the wrong leg. That. I should be able to revive him. You can see just how much more health he got from that. There is one bug I should mention. He's starting. I'm actually surprised the Pangar's starting to limp. Hey, how's it going, Balthier? It's going okay. I'm finally able to vent my my issues with this game. When it gets to late game. Like I said, but I acknowledge that this is primarily a multiplayer game. Oop, what am I doing? I don't even need this. I did learn one other thing. If any of the developers actually end up watching this, and they stick around by watching for an hour and 20 minutes, the Aether Fountains here that's supposed to heal you become inactive if you're at full health. And that's something I've noticed when hunting solo. That's basically your one, I guess that's your, let's see, so technically I guess you would have 4 sources to increase your battle endurance if we include the axe. But this is the point of the game where it's like, I need help. Because there's no way I have the ability to take on the Behemoths by myself. Because the Behemoths just start attacking at a consistent basis. Like, if you're in range, they're going to attack. And because the Behemoths only get bigger, every time they attack, they actually basically also run away from you. So you're constantly, basically, chasing after the Behemoth here. And the Pangar here, also known as the Giant Ice Gnasher, or Beaver, is one of those horrible, horrible Behemoths. Sure, let's all launch over. Hey, he also has his own. I'm attacking the wrong leg again. What am I doing? I don't even need to attack the legs. I've hit the legs. How are you doing though, Balthier? How's your day going? That was not the attack I was expecting. That was the attack I was expecting, but apparently he wasn't finished in his animation for me to get the benefit. How much damage can this thing take? You know, that's the interesting thing. It's hard to tell how much health these things have. Because when you play multiplayer, they're supposed to get 25% more health. So, like, for every single additional player, it's 25% additional health. So, basically, they go from whatever their total is to being... I didn't activate it in time. To having 200%. I don't know why I did that. That was dumb of me. I don't know why I was thinking that'd be good. You. Well, I guess a good question is, like, do you have any questions or anything? Let's start from that. I mean, I guess I probably should start. You know, this game is Dauntless. This is developed by Phoenix Labs. This is their first game. Their first project, actually, and it's going to be a free-to-play Monster Hunter game. So if you ever played a Monster Hunter game, you'll probably know the score. But if you don't, primarily a Monster Hunter game, and I played a few of them. Not in the purest sense. Like, this is the closest I've gotten to the purest sense of a Monster Hunter game. I never played a Monster Hunter game proper, but there are a lot of other games that are like it, such as Mercenary Kings, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Those are the ones I'm used to. Actually, gonna see if I can revive this enemy. Nope. Ah, he's not gonna let me have it. He's gotta get away. Unfortunately, I seem to be the only one in his sights. Yeah, I'm the only one in his sights right now. Because I'm the only one closest to him. There we go. That's pretty much it. Like I said, this, compared to other Monster Hunter games, this is as fundamental as it gets. Like, I want to reiterate, though, this is a new studio. This is a new game developer, basically trying to create a free-to-play Monster Hunter game here in the West. Hey, they got the tail. I'm actually surprised I didn't get him. But yeah, so you cut off each of the parts for... Usually there's the tail, there's the legs, there's the arms. And then there's the face. Darn it. This is on PC. It's closed beta right now. It's gonna be open beta by the end of this month. I can really use that heal right now. Yep. Oh. Ah, damn it. He screwed it up. He screwed it up. So, what he actually did there. And I really hope they fix that as well. They need to make sure the parts don't stick to the wall. That's gone. That piece is gone. You can't get that part, unfortunately. They need to make sure that rolls. I don't know why I rolled into him. That was a really bad idea. Oh, great. He's berserked and he's also frozen. I also really hate the hitboxes in this game. It's beta. Well... This game has been in development for a couple of years now. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't been on their to-do list a lot sooner. Because the later you go in this game, the more you need, every single part counts. Ah, damn it. I should also say, once that meter in the upper right, you'll see a percentage there. Once that hits 100%, nobody can actually revive anyone anymore. At least until the behemoth runs away. Though it can be reduced by getting revives. I probably just let myself get hit, didn't I? No, I did not. Yeah, so we're pretty close up to the danger zone. We've died a couple, had people get knocked out quite a few times. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm not gonna worry about trying to cut off any more ligaments. Because we kind of cut off everything we can. Ah, damn it, come on. Hey, we KO'd him. There we go, and you got him. Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is actually the late game of this game. So this is where the behemoths start to become very powerful, extremely difficult to beat. Because the game's designs of the behemoths for the late game and end game is that originally, and this is what I originally liked about it, and to put this into context, I enjoyed playing the Dark Souls games. I wasn't a fanatic, but I enjoyed playing them. And one thing I enjoyed playing about the Dark Souls games is that there was an ebb and flow to combat. Once you learned all the attacks of a boss in Dark Souls, there were moments where you knew you could dodge, and then you could monopolize on damage. For the first half of this game, so when you're starting out and such, that's pretty much how this game works. There's an ebb and flow to the combat. So, you dodge an attack, the behemoth leaves himself open. You can also be smarter, and if you notice attacks that you could interrupt with a heavy attack, or a behemoth, or like the Warpike's bullet, the Chain Blade specifically can't do any boss interrupts anymore, regardless if he uses heavy attack or not. But anyone else can. You could actually interrupt and stun the enemy. The stun you saw there against the Pangar, you can also get a stun by just doing an absorbent amount of damage to the forehead of the behemoth. So there's multiple parts, like I said, head, arms, legs, tail. That's pretty much how all the behemoths work. Sometimes they might have an additional part or two, but that's pretty much how the bulk of the game the bulk of the battles actually go in terms of the way the parts that you can hit for the behemoths. But the downside is, it just gets to a point where the behemoths are at this constant state of attacking that there's no stopping it. There's nothing to really slow it down or anything like that, aside from getting, either you KO them through beat him on the head, or getting that interrupt if they have an interrupt, and that's the important part. So like I said, Yonder Keys, Monster Verge, most people will have fun with that. The game starts to turn to where we are right now, the Uncharted Reaches. And then there's finally the Maelstrom. But the next one we have on our list is the Hellion here, and it says actually it's near non-existent Balthier, because the other half of the problem is when you make these behemoths so large, one of the downsides is that their attacks become so massive that a single step to them is the other side of the field. So when they do an attack like that, they are technically open, and that's why I'm at the point saying it's like, you need to play this game with other people. If you don't, you're going to suffer. And you're going to suffer a lot. But if you're playing with a party, that changes some factors there. But it still doesn't resolve the issue of your game design for your bosses is basically just have the Behemoth constantly attacking as long as it's in range of one of you or any of your party members. And so it makes it very difficult to create those opportunities so you can actually get an attack. So the Hellion here, he's actually weak to ice. I'm not going to do that because one other thing about this game, if you notice in the lower right-hand corner here, I have 5 health potions. That's as many as you can actually bring into a battle. You also do get a revive crystal, so if you do get knocked down, you can use that to bring yourself back up again. Best to usually save that if you're at that 100% moment, because the crystal overrides it. It's a good change from when it was back in its alpha state and earlier beta stages, because you used to have to craft your healing potions, as well as the revive talismans, and it took sometimes you'd actually go to the fight with nothing. But now they just give you, like, here's the tools you are going to be able to bring in. Speaking of tools, I need more bulwark potions. I've used my entire supply, apparently. Which doesn't make sense, because I know I've hoarded some of those. Speaking of which, actually, I want to check something. If they fix that, so I need 35 Sky Bloom.
Need supplies, Skipper?
They need to fix that, too. What's the bulwark potion? So, Sky Bloom, I have 35.
Now, don't waste this. Well, off you go, then.
No, I've never played Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, so, one thing that's currently bugged, at least in this beta, is that the way they really want players to keep playing this game is they give reputation, so you have these dailies to do. Dailies and weeklies. One of the downsides right now, one of the bugs they have in this, is I was at 35 for Sky Bloom gathered out of 50. I'm down to 25. Why? Because I crafted some bulwark potions, and one of the regents is Sky Bloom. So that's basically one of those funny things here. No, I never played Horizon Zero Dawn. I saw it. I've seen it plenty of times. I even saw it at the PlayStation Expo. Was it 2018 or 2017? I think it was 2017 I saw it.
Isn't it time you took a break, Zepko? People are beginning to call Wills a taskmaster.
Like I said, there's gonna be quite a few bugs here. Speaking of bugs here, I should actually go see here if I don't think I actually have any armor I can really bring in. Well, I do, but I'm gonna stick with the Zaga's armor here. This is not, just to let you know, this is not my best set. I just wanted to show all of the Behemoths from my streams. So, we're at the Hellion right now. Okay, so I can't buff these in. No, that's actually the wrong set. Max level. Oh, okay. I can just buff this up then. And let's buff this up once more. And unfortunately, I still need one more Shock Tooth. So this is also how you improve your armor and stuff. Everything has a certain value, and they'll do better than others. So like there's armor, like the Hellion, we should probably be using something that gives you fire resist, but at this tier, the only thing that actually will give you a decent amount of fire resist are, I do have the Embermane suit, but 65 defense versus 78. I'd rather go with the 78 defense rather than the additional flame resist. Although, what makes this hard, you know, I will say though, flame resist is probably what you want the most when you're fighting the Hellion. And you'll actually see why in a moment. Oops, that's the Pangar. Let's hunt this Hellion. Like I said, there's a lot of good things about this game, but there's also a lot of really difficult things about this, really questionable game design decisions. And I think part of it is, when it comes to the Behemoths, it comes down to the attack animations of hitboxes, attack animations, and the speed of those attack animations. Like, one thing about the Warpike. The Warpike... Well, okay, let's actually start with the core of it. I think, honestly, the core problem for a lot of fights is the lack of opportunities in the late game and the speed of which the Behemoths are attacking at the late game. Because the downside of when you have the Behemoths at a constant rate of attacking is that they end up not... How to put it? There's no opportunity for Slayers to use the combo system in the game. Now, the combo system in the game, you can just press X and that's a combo. You have your regular attacks and then you have your heavy/elemental attacks. But when you have Behemoths who are constantly attacking, some of the weapons in this game, like say the Warpike or the Chain Blades specifically, really rely on the ability to damage through completing an entire combo. And when you make that not possible, it makes it extremely difficult. Because you're not able to optimize your damage output or anything. Like, you're just stuck there doing the basic attack, and when you're using the Warpike or Chain Blade, you're not outputting the highest damage. If anything, you're outputting the lowest damage. Actually gonna collect these here. Omni Stone is actually used for crafting the pylons in this game. And you can only bring 2 of those into each battle. At least to my knowledge, you can only bring up to 2. No, fall damage is not a thing in this game. It does not exist, thankfully. So this is not trying to be realistic by any sense of the imagination. Speaking of which, that little fireball you saw up ahead, that's the Hellion. So, we just fought an ice beaver. How do you feel about fighting a fire beaver? And Arvin's already down. Wow, that actually interrupted my armor. Hellion is easily... I'm dead. Yeah, I got knocked out. Nobody really wants to fight the Hellion in this game. If you want to be... well, that kind of makes it sound cynical, honestly, but... effectively, yes. You can also see it just did half of my health in a single attack. And all of these tree trunks. Nobody wants to fight the Hellion. I can tell you that right now. He is definitely on... He's gotta be, like... He's gotta be number 3. No, maybe number 4, actually. He might be number 4. Actually. Out of all of them. But this is the problem with the Hellion. Attack after attack after attack with no opportunity of reprieve. Or slowdown. As long as he's in range of one of the enemies, he will do an attack. And just to let you know, nobody's actually hit the Hellion yet. Nobody's hit the Hellion yet. There we go. Now we have actually landed a hit. And this is, like, the problem I have with this design is that... I'll just let myself on fire. The problem I have with this design is when you have your behemoths constantly attack, and you eliminate any and all opportunities to actually attack, you're dragging out a fight. I'm actually gonna grab this. So this buff here... This buff here makes you immune to fire damage, but it only lasts for a limited time. So that's why it spews out a bunch of them. However, you don't actually get to see when it ends. Well, let's just say we haven't made much, if any, progress. I think that's probably the best way I could put it. Progress has not been made this day. I'm actually gonna use a healing potion here. God bless you, little hammer users. But this is where I have the problem with the game, because when you have your behemoths at a constant attack base, so now I can't revive. The only reason why Titano was able to revive... Alright. Everyone got knocked down. Also, it kind of sucks because it does so much damage. How did I not touch that? Yeah, no. Like, this is the problem. Like, the Hellion itself is basically one of the core... is a perfect example of a core problem with boss design in this game. You need to be able to create an optimal fight is when you have an ebb and flow to the game. And part of it, you should benefit player skill. And by doing that, you have that. You have the ability to interrupt. The problem is there's no discernible way to find when that moment is to take that risk to get that interrupt. And it's fine, it's at a high risk, high reward sort of deal. Same thing with earning the knockout. Like, if you're really that focused on bashing the head in of that behemoth, you should definitely be able to get a few, be able to let you and your team get some hits in. But the problem comes down to, if your behemoth is a constant state of attacking, that creates no opportunity to perform an attack and get any damage in, thus artificially lengthening a fight to what could be on an unbearable level, or even an oppressive level, where it's not fun to actually play. I'll be honest, like, the wall of this game for me was the Pangar and the Hellion. And the moment the game told me you do not have to fight them anymore, I left them behind. I did not go back. I completely left them in the dust and said, I'm not fighting them anymore, I don't have to fight them. Because the game's storyline, or quests, because you unlock the behemoths by doing each quest. Once it gave me that opportunity to not fight them anymore, I chose not to fight them anymore, because of how much of a pain they actually are to fight. Yeah, see, Reese Hyun is decked out in the Emmermain armor. Same thing with Usei. I'd honestly say most players in this game probably walled at Hellion and Pangar. I'd honestly say that. And I would not be surprised if the data by Phoenix Labs would back that up. The only other three bosses in my mind that are tougher than the Hellion are the Shroud, the Razit, and the Razor Wing, and they all have that same problem design, is that they're in a constant state of attack, there's no reprieve, and they're so massive in size, or they're so quick, that you barely get the opportunity to actually do an interrupt attack, so you can get your team to do damage, or be able to actually land a single hit. And that's why I moved to the axe over the sword and everything, because I just need to land one hit. That's all I need to do. Just one hit. And I'd rather be able to do that one hit with an axe and actually do some damage than not do any damage at all. And, of course, it's there, on the other side of the battle. I was just kind of... I was looking for more Sky Bloom. Dark Souls is tough, but fair, because it's more of a... The boss fights are honestly more of a puzzle. Like, the way I treat Dark Souls is that it's a puzzle game. Specifically, the boss fights. Like, when you actually really get down to the fights... I thought they found them. I guess they didn't. Never mind. Is that they're a puzzle. And in those puzzles, there's an ebb and flow. You know, it's pattern recognition. And that's why I see why people actually who... I kind of understand why Exposure actually like Monster Hunter is... It's the same type of deal. You know, you play a Dark Souls game, and it's like, okay, you could bring a certain level of skill over. You're not going to be a god at Monster Hunter games just because you were good at Dark Souls. Quite the opposite, honestly. No, not quite the opposite. Scratch that. Scratch that, forget I said it. Don't come near me, buddy. Ah, he's gonna come near me. Yep, I'm in his attack range. Ah, damn it. I already used my Bulwark Potion. I don't know what happened, but something stopped it. I'm actually surprised it didn't hit me. Like I said, the one thing I'll oddly give him... I hate it, but at the same time, I'll give him credit for. You'll never see hitboxes on the offensive for the Behemoths so massive, yet at the same time, just so on point when it comes to fighting in this game. Or like trying to get a hit on the Behemoths. Like, it literally makes me wonder, it's like, how can a monster so gigantic be able to attack me and hit me, and yet I can't hit it? Damn it. Because the moment every single attack a Behemoth does, its entire body becomes a hitbox. But this is why I like the axe. Is that every time you do a full charge with your X attack, or regular attack, you'll get 200 health. The hard part like I said, right there is a perfect example of the hitbox. Not gonna get anywhere. And it also makes the other downside, it kind of makes reviving people really difficult. Because all it does is attack. And there's no way to stop it or stun it unless you get lucky with an elemental attack. That was focusing on me. I can't get him. Like, this is the problem. This is why... This is the downturn of the game. Is you're always having it being a constant state of attack. And that's what really sucks about this game. It's not like... I could understand 1 or 2 Behemoths being designed this way. But the late game from the Pangar on is this. Is in a constant state of attack. And that's not fun. It's not good design when every Behemoth is designed this way. Like, there's a certain level of getting good. And then there's this, which is just abusive. Also, tree stumps kind of suck. Oh. Ah, damn it, the fire DOT is gonna kill me. Surprisingly enough, this game doesn't really... It's not heavy on puns. Give me that hit. Give me that health. I have no idea where I am right now. That's fine. It's fine. It's not fine. Oh, it's actually doing its berserker. Damn it! Nope, I'm out. Like, this is what I actually wanted to show from my previous streams. This is where the frustration of this game comes in. I have a lot of other criticisms. I've actually even said it on the Dauntless subreddit as well. And I personally stand by those. Like, it takes too long for the Warpike to actually wound a Behemoth when it is a party of 4. I think honestly the flaw of it is that all these people are wearing Ember main armor, so they're actually optimized to reduce the amount of the fire DOT damage. But the Hellion does so much damage that just having raw defense is honestly better. And the only way to get more fire resistance against the Hellion is to kill the Hellion. Because there's only one other behemoth. I'm using my revive crystal. I'm gonna see if I can have better luck here. Basically, now everyone's just gonna take their chance at trying to get a kill. I didn't get the heal in time. Nope, no one's gonna use the crystals? Okay, nobody used the crystals. Either way. The animation for the healing is nice, but it's not quick enough. Like, I died because of DOT damage. Like I said, Hellion and the Pangar were easily my wall, and once I beat them, like I had to beat them to progress to fight other behemoths, I left them in the dust. They are easily some of the hardest behemoths you will fight in this game. And that's why I left them behind. And and the strange part is, and I'll actually probably show it tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to kill the Hellion. There's very few people who actually have their coordination together to actually beat the Hellion. Because the fire DOT damage, it does a lot of damage, even if you do have fire resist. And it's probably actually the strongest of the debuffs. So there's a frozen debuff that freezes you in place, basically leaving you open to get hit by the behemoth if it aggroes onto you. The shock one, it's high damage, so you do get punished if you do get hit by it. But the good thing about it, the bad thing about it, is that you can't use items when you're paralyzed. So you can still attack and stuff, you just can't use your healing potions or any other potions or items. And then, of course, there's the fire, which is a high damage, damage over time. You can extinguish it quicker than the other two. The other two kind of have to run their course. But you dump your stamina just to actually extinguish the flames, because, you stop, drop, and roll against it. But easily, though, fire is still one of the strongest debuffs they actually have. There are a couple other debuffs, and I also wish that the game was more explicit to how long you're going to be debuffed, what the debuff does very specifically, as specific as possible. I know when you're in game, you need to make the game. You need to make the language. Go with the theme. Let's go with that. That's probably the best way to say it. Go with the theme. But at the same time, when I'm just looking at an icon, there's a couple more debuffs that are in the late game. You don't know what they do, and if you scroll over it with your mouse, it doesn't tell you what they do either. But yeah, the other ones here, we'll probably actually tomorrow's stream, I'll show you the Stormclaw, go with the Karabac, and then we'll go into the Maelstrom, and you can take a look at the others here. So, there's... Oh, they changed it! They changed it! What the... They got rid of... Huh. They got rid of the, That's odd. I actually just noticed that now. Because I haven't played since last night. They changed the... Well, they haven't changed all of them. The Rage Tail and Asher's still there. But the other ones aren't here. I don't know. Huh. Maybe they might have actually set it up so it's a rotation of behemoths. I've never seen the Bloodfire Embermane. I've seen the Deadeye Quillshot. And as well as the Frostback Pangar. But if anything, tomorrow I'll show you the others from the Uncharted region, and then we'll do a couple of the Maelstrom. That's kind of where I want to leave Dauntless until it goes into its open beta period. But that's going to do it for me tonight. Belth here, have yourself a good night. Thank you very much for watching. But as always, I want to take a moment and take a look and see if there's anyone else who is streaming at the moment. Unfortunately, there is not. I don't have anyone on my follow list that is active right now in streaming. I honestly do need to expand it. I need to follow a couple more people to see what times they're active and such. But that's going to do it for me tonight. Hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. Tomorrow, once again, there'll be a little bit more Dauntless. Until then, as always, take care.